This is Aaron Levine, LG Insurance Agency, hanging out with my good friend, Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency. We're here on the Who You Work With Matters podcast. And we also know Who You Golf With Matters.
Who you golf with matters.
It's a good one, right? I should put that on a t-shirt.
As long as you don't talk about what happens while those people that you interview play golf, then it's fine because people think that's cool and everybody's really good.
So sometimes, yesterday, depending on when this episode actually does
a day
come
before
out,
we
a day
recorded
before our
this.
recording,
Yes,
Toby and I spent a day together supporting the Mercy Center of Asbury Park. Great golf outing at Hollywood Country Club, Hollywood Golf and Country Club, whatever the real name is.
It's fantastic. It's an amazing place.
One of the best golf courses in Monmouth County, if not the state.
According to the caddy, it was number one.
According to the caddy, number one.
Now it's number 4.
Whatever it is.
It's beautiful.
It's a great golf course. I enjoy playing there, play there a decent amount. Playing there in an outing is also a lot of fun because it's challenging yet forgiving. And when you have a good foursome, you have a good time. So, Toby, how many drives of yours did we use yesterday?
There's the intro. So there was an argument, and I probably lost all viewership when I just said so. I thought it was at least 2. Now, for the people that are watching that don't know golf, there are 18 holes. So generally we would have about 14 or 15 opportunities to hit a ball out into this big open space with short grass called a fairway.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I was unable to perform the way that I should, but I thought that I carried my weight on those 2 drives. So I thought I did great. But then you said 0.
I think the rules stated that we have to use 2 drives per player. So we're gonna say we used 2 of your drives yesterday. But thank goodness our tiebreaker is not here to squash this conversation and do the actual counting for us.
Well, he was paid off anyway, so I know what he would I know what he would say. But I think ultimately, forget the golf. It's you and your philanthropy and what you do a lot. You don't talk about it enough, but when anybody sees your Instagram handle or watches you, you're always somewhere donating. I think people should take notice of that. You do a lot, and
money, and effort.
You don't
right?
like you don't like to talk about it. Your and I said it last time. Your family is very philanthropic, and you do a lot of things quietly. But
do it quietly.
You do.
But we have a good time.
Yeah.
But I also look at a lot of these philanthropic efforts as being with good people in great places, especially for these social style events, because they are networking events at the same time. So besides having you with me and our friend Evan Beach and Darren Davis, who these are all people that we work with and spend time with, and it just continues to nurture and mature relationships, and it helps us all grow. It's the Who You Work With Matters. It's the who's in our lives that we rely on and we live with and work with and network with and continue to keep moving our businesses forward. That I think is so important.
Speak for yourself. Forward.
Listen, you started your business 15 years ago, right? I want to say it was probably similar time, right?
You picked me up when we were going on that trip with the marketing group, Zenith Marketing, when we were going down to Miami in 2010.
Oh, so
you had wait, was it the Volkswagen? You had the ski racks.
I never had a Volkswagen, but good enough. I don't know. It
was some sedan.
Okay.
And we went out together. Snow. Dolly, Pitbull, Wet Willies.
We got snowed in and went to Wet Willies for, was it call cabs? What were they? What was the high octane drink at Wet Willies on Miami Beach?
It was called Call a Cab with grain alcohol. Now, we had the whole day.
The amount of sugar and alcohol in there. I remember my face.
It's a bad mix.
Like my face always gets red when I drink.
No, it was like a helium balloon. It was so red. And then we thought, and people are probably like, where are we going with this? And you mentioned 15 years ago. But then we got on bikes because we thought that was a great idea. And then we'll just bike around Miami. I'm surprised why not?
Why not?
But
that was like before, that was when you rented the bikes, like the city bikes. This was a newer concept.
That's true.
In 2010, 2011, whenever this was.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was pre-kids, pre-marriage.
Same.
Right.
Lot has changed.
A lot has changed, and your business continues to evolve because that was a life insurance sales reward trip we were able to both experience and be on.
Yep.
And it just so happened we worked for the same wholesaler.
Correct.
And have taken our businesses in different directions. And you can still say that you are still in business 15 years later
It's true.
is something to be proud of, I think.
I think it's hard. I think once you get past that enamorment stage of honeymoon, which is like 6 months to a year, like you get your cards printed and you go, this is great. All right, I got to go. Uh-oh, I got to start making money. Oh, who am I going to talk to? And those grind years of just trying to get contacts and just get anything and taking anything. And then you evolve to the point where you may not take everything. And then you're like, this person's a headache. Should I be working? If you can get to the point where you're a little bit more selective, I think that's probably.
How do you feel about firing clients?
Probably a win. I am so strong-minded about firing clients and I don't do it.
Then you don't do it?
And I don't do it. So I am potentially on the precipice, and this is a situation ongoing where when a client can't be pleased and they just keep asking for things and don't trust what our advice is, and then think that they can do a better job, to the point where it's like, for our service team, how much time can they potentially spend on one person when the juice isn't worth the squeeze? So then it might be time. But then you give them an option.
Across all lines.
I don't care what industry, who's ever listening to this, everybody has that issue.
Right.
And it comes up when you least expect it, and then you think you got everything figured out, and then you get slapped in the face and it's back. And that's just business. That's people.
I mean, that's the same thing. I started, my whole mantra early on was to be able to help anybody, because I know I had trouble where I was working early on before I went out on my own. And I vowed to myself, I'm going to help everybody and get things done. And I still like to treat the business that way, even if we're helping somebody with a $400 insurance policy,
right,
where we make no money and it actually costs me money to operate my business in that fashion now, but I still feel at my heart, I want to be able to help some people out. But there's a line where we'll help you, but go away quick. We'll make sure we get you set up properly and, wash our hands with it. But there's a line where some people cross that line and we have to let them go, because they're not worth it, but they're also taking our time, effort, and energy away from our other clients who, quote unquote, may be more profitable, or I hate to say more worth our time, but we want to make sure we have that balance between people that are stealing too much time and those that require more time because there's a little bit more profitability there.
I think
it's a challenge.
It is a challenge. And I think our Achilles heel, or like our kryptonite, is we're bleeding hearts. That's the problem. So one of the things is you gotta learn to say no. And I think as your success grows, you value your time more.
Right.
And you get to spread it on your team, so your team can do more, but then you have less time. So it's like, how can you buy back your time? Where you say no and then tell them it's okay to say no. Because sometimes, like, my staff will be nervous, like, but that's revenue you have coming in. I said, yeah, but that's bad. That's bad revenue potentially.
Isn't
because
that a
you're
good
spending
feeling?
so much time.
You get to that point where you don't have to take everything, and you can be selective about who your clients are going to be. Sniper.
Rather than a shotgun blast.
All right.
Where
you do prefer shooting shotgun shells. So I don't know. Is it skeet shooting?
I can't hit anything with anything, really. So, and for those of you out there that think it's easy to do. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Aaron and I are going to spend the whole week together. He did send me a text message and said, can you handle me for 2 or 3 days in a row? And my answer was no.
No. That's okay. I forgive you for that comment.
My answer was no, but it's nice to be selective. But you were talking about who, not how, and hire a who and don't learn how to do it. And it's funny because my daughter just today, and I was talking to you before we went, I love to say this, on air.
Oh, hey now.
Before we went on air, my daughter got like a piece of earring stuck in her ear, and she was working on trying to get it out. I don't do that. Like, that seems so benign. Like, so we had to go to the primary care physician. They took it out with tweezers. I have no capability of doing it. And I'm not going to pretend that I know to save the day to, one, get it infected,
right,
or make it worse. And, but it's your daughter, so that might be tough. It's not that it would be tough. It's like, I'm not set up with that. I know the things that I'm good at doing, which are few, and the things that I'm not good.
Not golf.
Yeah. I used more than 2 drives. I made a 40-foot birdie. Nobody talks about the good things. Anyway, but it is who, not how. Like, and and we just learn this over time, because you do everything. And you're like, all right, I'm going to do all this stuff. And even like with podcasting, nice new studio, by the way. It's like, all right, I'm going to do that. You start thinking about planning it, and then you're off doing something else and doing something else.
Well,
So
again, those are the Who's, right? James
those are the Who's.
and
James the
Neil,
Who.
and Rec Productions are the Who's that help me operate this, and Kelly and Social Stamina are the Who's that execute the distribution strategy when it comes to the podcast, right? So there's who's responsible. I needed a who to be responsible in scheduling my studio time because I forgot to schedule it. And James was kind enough to accommodate us today to make sure we're in, because I had it on the calendar. I just forgot to tell them we were showing up. But again, that's the relationship that, reigns supreme to make sure that we can get in and still get it done and make it look flawless. When we go out to distribution, nobody's going to know that I forgot to book studio time.
Well, no, now they're going to know.
Oh, wait, right. So they're all going to know.
They'll know now.
It's fine. But I don't mind sharing that. It's okay to make mistakes, right? Like, mistakes are good. We have to all fail forward.
So many.
Is that a book? That's a
so
book,
many
isn't
times
it?
fail
Somebody
forward.
rewrote
It sounds
that.
like it. But
What
like,
books have you read lately? Like that transition?
So
That was
yeah,
pretty good.
A Life in Full, Indra Nooyi. I just finished reading. My father-in-law worked for Pepsi for like 42 years, and apparently this is common. Like they have employees working for a very, very long time, in a time where people jump jobs. But it was a longer book by my standards. And when I say reading, I'm talking about listening.
We love Audible.
So we could talk about, is listening reading? My wife says, no, it's not. I don't know. It's not I'm not reading it. I'm not.
But your wife's
I'm
a
listening.
school teacher.
She is. And I get her perception.
So if the students came in and be like, yeah,
I listened to it.
I listened to Judy Blume this week. Although when we were driving home for Vermont last week, we did start listening to Harry Potter.
Okay.
As a family, and my 9-year-old totally into it.
What about reading and listening?
Not in the car. Definitely not in the car.
Okay.
We're gonna have some issues if we read and listen in the car.
Oh, okay, one of those. Okay, got it.
And I can't read and listen. I'm just a listen, but that's just me. But she's a reader, loves books, but when we're in the car, we can't always do that. So when you need a break from music, put a book on. And so we started Harry Potter, and she's all into it, and she can't wait to start, becoming a fanatic.
Yeah.
Through the series, which is kind of cool. So she'll maybe pick up where we left off in listening and finish via reading, or start over the book in one way, shape, or form. But, Audible is totally legit most of the time.
I mean, it's not necessarily new, but it's just what Amazon has done. I mean, it was cassette tapes before that, or CDs or whatever, right? But I think the point that she was driving home with it is she worked at Motorola, gigantic companies, wound up as a CEO of PepsiCo, went through some mergers, joined in like 1994. Their valuation was $27 billion, publicly traded company, all the heat's on, shareholders. And one thing that she said that she regretted was spending more time with her family if she could. And towards the end of the book, she was then retired. She saw the bus pull up on the street, kids come out, and now we're at work from home. So now current, it was 22 or 23. And she said she felt a little bit remorseful. Like, I missed that. Like, I missed that time because I was never home. She was on a jet flying somewhere. And for those people out there and I know that they love that, those are corporate execs that do that. It's hard. And we don't even do that and have trouble balancing. And I think you were talking about this before, just being an entrepreneur, wanting to drive forward, you want to be on, but then to be present with your kids, whether you have 2, 4, or as some people have said, how's your 100 kids? I don't understand what that means.
I don't know what that means,
but it's apparently 4 is a lot. But to be present and grow, I think, is the hardest balancing act. And she also said she was lucky. She has no idea. It's not like she cracked the code.
Right.
There is no code. It's that she was just lucky in the things that she did to wind up where she was. So she said luck had a lot to do with it, but the balancing act.
I mean, it's
hard.
Luck is hard work.
Correct. Luck is, and through that entire book, the amount of hours, she said she was blessed with only being able to have to sleep 5 hours. So she would work until 12:30 in the morning.
Right.
At home, sleep, and then back up, repeat forever.
Yeah, I need my 8 hours. I can't do the 5-hour thing.
Which is another Ray Dalio, the Principles book. Another 90-hour. You don't have to do that though.
You don't have to work the 90 hours, but they do make a point to some of these people who take things to a whole nother level with their companies and their businesses and the way their thought processes work, is they are putting in that time to take things to a whole nother level.
Correct.
Now, my level of success, your level of success, I'm not measuring myself against a Ray Dalio.
Right.
I don't want that life. I don't want the 90-hour work week. I don't want to work, the way he sets it up in Principles is like, I worked in the business, for 45 hours, and then I spent another 40 hours working on the business and writing code and algorithms and figuring out these formulas and doing all those other things.
Right.
He was operating in both. He was wearing both hats,
right,
the operator and the creative, to put it all together. I mean, that's exceptional. And it takes a special kind of person to do that. And that's not me. I want to go play golf. I want to be with good people. I want to run my business reasonably well. I'm looking to see if my phone's ringing to make sure I don't have to do anything right now.
That's because we started late and we ran over.
We're addicted,
and
but no,
we're
listen,
addicted.
But it's
addicted
one
to
of those
what?
things.
Addicted to what?
That's a good question.
Now I'm running this. What do we addicted?
Wait, how do we switch?
We're addicted.
Should we switch seats?
Addicted to what? Growth,
that?
Success?
I don't know. It depends on how you want to define it. I mean, I don't know if I'm addicted to growth. Maybe I am, because I don't shut the marketing machine off.
Well, I don't think you coined the phrase
going.
"money never sleeps," but somebody did. You repurposed it, but you're not
Is
wrong.
That's Wall Street, right? Money never sleeps.
Sure. Guess
it's not a book.
That's true too.
Is that a book? I don't know. But anyway,
it might be.
You're right. Money never sleeps, but it depends on how much money or what you want to go after in life, and how many who's and what who's do you want to bring along the way. Now,
Yeah.
I want to dive into something. So we talked.
Okay.
We hit a few books. You hit the Who Not Hows, and you hit
Yep.
Ray Dalio. Networking, and I've had a couple of good networking conversations. And I've always said this about you: is you are one of the best networkers that I know, because you will talk to anybody at any time about anything, and you don't even talk about business when you
just
do.
anything,
Right?
anywhere. It's true though. I actually will seek people out, and I don't know why I do it. It's literally like a magnet, and
Right.
I can't stop it.
Right.
I don't know why. It's
That's
a problem.
That's just your personality.
Yeah.
That's who you are. But you are such a master networker, and you don't have a formula behind it. It's just how you operate. It's just who you are and what you do. But it's exceptional when somebody's looking from the outside to see what is Toby Stark up to, and you don't do a good enough job of sharing that on social media.
Yeah, I
You're too
know.
busy with like minivan dad life, trying to become social media famous with a messy minivan because you have 4 kids.
Do I have any followers?
Do you have like
on that?
10 followers on Minivan Dad Life?
I doubt it.
Maybe
10.
you
It's a
know.
public, so that's a public handle, guys. So feel free. I post once every about 9 months. So
I know.
it's
So
real
do
active.
more, and you might be able to sell minivan accessories. You might be able to go into the affiliate marketing business and sell, cool accessories
my
for the
God.
minivan when you have lots of kids.
Every other guest on the show never went through this right now. But no, but you're right. Post more about, yes, I don't do that.
You need to share more about where you are and what you're doing and who you're with. And that just will continue to increase your clout, which exists inside those social circles.
Right.
Right. You just need to be able to share it outside of that social circle, and you'll be able to continue to see it. But your success comes from your networking and your ability to be with people and continue to do that and be present and relevant during all those social situations.
I think
Did I say that pretty good? That was
you did
pretty
great.
good, right?
I think like from a business coaching standpoint, like I work with Nick Marianello, Focal Point Business Coach, shout out. When you talk about what your superpower is, like if they said, Aaron, what's your superpower? It's what you do that then gives you energy, not saps your energy, right?
Right.
So if I was to try to figure out SEO, that would be an energy sapper. I would want to smash my computer and throw it out.
There's people to pay for that.
And I do. I know that that's a sap, but what gives me energy? And my wife, she's so patient with me, because also when we're out, I also go and speak to anybody too. But it's about that. I love that. So that gives me energy, and it's odd.
Right.
Like I'm like, man, I'm really feeling tired. I want to go talk to somebody. That's it though. That's my. But so that's
I need the cold plunge. You want to go talk to somebody.
cold plunge.
I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm going to go sit in the cold
3
plunge for
minutes
3
and 20
minutes.
seconds.
Hands out. I'm
Don't hands out. Don't
Hands out.
go over
can't go
5
hands in.
minutes. I did 6 minutes. I
Oof.
was cold for the whole day. It was stupid. 3 minutes.
Are you hands out or hands in?
Now I'm only half in, half out.
Oh,
I
you're
cheat.
half in, half out?
Yeah, I don't.
See, I need my shoulder. I got to go down to shoulders. I got to get my neck under. I got
For
to
that
go. I
first
like
40
my 2 minutes
seconds,
in.
that's really hard.
You got to get through the 30 seconds of
It's
shock.
really
That
hard.
first 30 seconds is the hardest.
I
And
know.
then you ease into it. And then after 2 minutes, it starts to get cold again, or you get bored. There's kind of like a, you know.
I hope that there's people there. The hardest cold plunge is when you're there alone and nobody's around.
Oh, well, nobody's watching you.
Well, no, you can't,
Because
like,
you don't have anybody to talk
divert.
to. Because
I do.
you want to be talking to
I do.
somebody at all times.
Nobody wants to
So
talk
this
there.
past weekend, we were at an Oktoberfest, and my wife and I both participated in the Stein holding
I saw that.
competitions.
No snow there?
No snow
Okay.
on the mountains, but this is my first time ever doing a Stein holding competition. So
I saw your wife was holding
these
it.
German glass beer steins weigh 3 pounds,
Okay.
and they're filled with 1 liter of water.
Yep.
In this case, which a liter of water weighs another 3 pounds and change.
Yeah. Liquid's
So
heavy.
it's 6 pounds, and you're
Straight out.
statuesque, right? And I'm like, my hardest thing is going to be staying focused and paying attention and being in this position for more than 2 minutes.
Right.
Right. And I lasted 4. And the winner in the men's division went for like 5 minutes and 15 seconds out of what we were doing. So pretty impressive. But my arm still hurts from holding that thing for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I had the patience to sit there for 4 minutes. Granted, there's people cheering and there's hooting and hollering and there's drunk people all around you. So it was kind of fun, to participate in that, do something new because I've never done it before.
Yep.
And the women, my wife competed in the women's division.
Yep.
I think the winning woman was like around 3 minutes, which was pretty impressive. But man, holding 6 pounds like that for 5 minutes or even 4 minutes is worse than the cold plunge.
So it's interesting. So that makes 30 seconds really long, like the cold plunge. You're saying not doing anything, which brings an important part of giving your brain a rest or having downtime. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes doing some type of meditation. Very hard for somebody that's constantly going. Because then you go, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to try to meditate for 7 minutes. And then after 45 seconds, your mind is like this. And you go, is it done?
I can do a guided meditation.
I
can't sit by myself I have trouble sitting by myself in my own thoughts. Maybe we need to take this to a therapy session.
That's everybody has trouble sitting with their own thoughts.
I have a friend of mine, Chris Mulvaney, runs a big marketing firm out of Colts Neck. He's like, I slowed down on the book consumption because it was clogging my brain and I didn't do enough creative thinking.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't do enough meditating and creative work because I was constantly reading and learning or listening to an audiobook and trying to learn and do new things. And then you want to apply some of the principles that you're listening to and learning. He's like, I had to take a pause from the books to just sit in myself and be able to be creative and work with my team on what we're doing, as opposed to trying to get some new nugget of information out of a book. So it kind of goes both ways. So you got to kind of go in phases, whether you're reading or listening or working on a project or just trying to think about how you're going to operate your business next.
I think from a creativity standpoint, you don't sit down and go, okay, be creative. And any book that I've listened to or halfway read, creativity comes when you least expect it.
Halfway read.
When you're,
guilty.
I'm not read. I'm trying to still got, I was looking at, we're waiting in the waiting room, the doctor's office, and I have a first grade book and I'm like literally
highlights.
Madeline's she's drawing. So Stephanie's with me and I'm looking and she's like, catching up on some reading, huh? There's 3 words per page. I'm not saying I'm but that was
QR codes in the highlights magazines now. You can scan the QR code and it takes you to a YouTube video.
Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. But I think creativity strikes when you least expect it. And then it's like, do I apply this and run with it? And that's where and one thing I learned is there's always going to be projects forever. There's always some type of project.
That's how you stay relevant.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have a project to work on, if you're not trying to do something new or meet somebody new, you're not going to evolve. And that's when you're going to become stale and die.
Nice. That's great.
I mean, there's no other way to soften that one. And that's just what it is. And that's why we're here talking today. And this is part of my process. My creative process is to sit with great people on this great couch and learn from them.
Great people.
Great people.
Wait, I'm here.
You are qualified.
2 drives.
It's like I should give you a certificate. Congratulations, you are now part of the great people of the Who You Work With Matters podcast.
I would like to get a participation trophy before I leave here.
On that note, I think I'm going to end this episode with my good friend Toby Stark. I will get him a participation trophy. I appreciate all the insights and the books and the evolution of your business, and congratulations. Keep going, but maybe we'll get you some golf lessons, and I'll see you next time.
Thank
Later.
you.
Peace.